Can you hear me now? Okay. All right, so wow. Okay, thank you. Geez, wow. All right, so I mean, I guess I'll start over from the very beginning. The basic way to master bodyweight exercises that you find difficult in terms of strength is to focus on negatives. So you get to the top of the movement however you can, and then you control the way down. Anything from 5 to 2 seconds on the way down is okay. For exercises like push-ups, you can use leverage. So you can elevate your hands on something like a chair or a table to make the exercise easier. For pull-ups, you can use bands to assist yourself on the way up and on the way down. Like for me now at 48, when I'm doing these harder pull-up workouts, like the ones that I'm creating for this new exercise program, I just straight away, I do nothing but pull-up negatives. And they feel great, and they work well to develop my back, my biceps, my forearms. All right, okay, so negatives are a really great way to get strong with movements that are too hard for you. Another really great way to get strong is just to practice exercises all throughout the day. So obviously, with calisthenics, you can train anywhere, anytime. It's kind of a cliche. But the real benefit is one of the big benefits is that you can practice all throughout the day. You wouldn't normally be able to do that if you were using weights unless you live at a gym. All right, so and professional athletes a lot of times the way they train is they do small short workouts frequently throughout the day instead of just having 3 or 4 big workouts throughout the week. So a great way to master exercises that are difficult for you or to improve your overall work capacity, fitness, to get stronger is to practice all throughout the day. So when you're sitting at your desk, especially if you work at home, it might be a little awkward if you work in a cubicle, is just get up from your desk every 10 to 15 minutes and do 3 to 10 reps of some exercise. If you do that, all throughout the day, all throughout the week, all throughout the month, that volume builds up, and in long term, it has a really powerful effect on your overall health and work capacity. Okay, I got a list of exercises from you guys that you tend to struggle with. I'll list them: A-frames, elbow drops, high kick, side kick, tabletop, sacks and tilt, one-legged RDLs, and then some of the inchworm exercises like vertical twist. I think the most important thing to know about those exercises is that it's totally okay if you can't get a full range of motion. And it's totally okay if you have a very limited range of motion with those exercises. The important thing with those exercises is that you're getting a stretch. So with A-frames, the purpose of that exercise is that you're stretching your hamstrings, your calves, and then your hips. All right? So as long as you're getting a good stretch, that's okay. That's enough. You don't have to do the exercise perfectly the way you see it in the video, for example. Same with elbow drops, right? If in the videos that you guys see, you see me dropping my elbow all the way to the ground. If you're not even close to getting your elbow to the ground, but you're feeling a stretch in your hips, then the exercise is serving its purpose. Don't worry too much about getting your elbow all the way down to the ground. High kick, side kick, again, like these are exercises that require a lot of flexibility. So as long as you're getting a stretch when you're performing these exercises, that's really the important part. And then through repetition, that's how you get better at these movements. There aren't tricks that I can give you to suddenly be able to do these exercises perfectly, because it's like anything else. It's kind of like if you wanted to learn to box, or you learn to dance or play some musical instrument. If there's some skill that you're struggling with, right? Like, what's the solution? It's just a matter of repetition. And a lot of times it's massive repetition, day in and day out, over the course of months and years. And that's how you get better at it. And again, the great thing with bodyweight exercises is that you can practice them anytime. So if you're struggling with A-frames, one of the best things that you can do is practice A-frames, right? So you only get good at what you do. Like, for me to give you a whole bunch of other and like ancillary exercises to improve A-frames, I can do that, but probably in terms of like getting the most for the least, the best thing that you can do is practice A-frames. So again, you're sitting at your desk, set a timer, and every 10 to 15 minutes, get up from your desk and do 3 or 4 reps. Do 3 reps on each side with A-frames or elbow drops or high kick or side kick, all right? And it's just the volume of repetition, especially if it's quality repetition while you're fresh and not fatigued, that's gonna do a lot to improve your overall performance. It's actually an incredible way to train. I think it's the best way to train. Of course, the problem is that most people simply won't do it. All right, so let's talk about A-frames real quick. I don't know how well you guys can hear me, so I'll stay real close to the mic. For A-frames, you straighten your leg, and then you drop your elbow. If you can only straighten your leg a little tiny bit, that's totally okay as long as you're getting a stretch. You can keep your hand on the ground, or you can pick your hand up off the ground. It really doesn't, you can do both variations. And I would go a little bit by feel, like what allows you to get a better stretch in your hamstrings. The same goes for the elbow drop. If your elbow is not close to the ground, but you're getting a good stretch, then that's totally okay. For the elbow drop, in the prep program, you step and then you do an elbow drop. If your elbow drop is here and like nowhere close to the ground, but you're getting a good stretch in your hips, then the exercise is serving its purpose. Hopefully, over the course of months, years, you're going to improve, all right? But it just takes massive repetition, and millimeter by millimeter, you're gonna see improvement. And a lot of times those improvements, to be totally honest, aren't as fast as we want, especially because we want improvement. There are so many things that we're trying to improve, right? Shoulder mobility, the mobility of your spine, hip mobility, strength, coordination, etc. So we're trying to improve a lot of things at the same time, while also throughout the day spending probably 10, 12 or more hours sitting in chairs, all right, which isn't great. All right, so that was A-frames, elbow drops, high kick, side kick, tabletop. Again, if you don't have the flexibility to make those movements, to do those movements the way that I'm doing them in the video, you just do them however you can. And I'm gonna show you an easy way to do tabletops. First of all, place your hands directly in front of your knees. So don't be out here, be close to your knees. Do your kick out, and then from here, keep your hips low And then once you're in this position, raise your hips. And then you can go back. All right, so doing a tabletop with your hips low makes the exercise much easier. As your flexibility improves, you can slowly start to keep your hips higher and higher. All right, Saxon tilt and the inchworm vertical twist. Those are two exercises that are amazing, actually, and it's probably what most of us need because we spend so much time sitting. So we have tight, inflexible, a lot of times weak hip flexors, and that's exactly what the Saxon tilt and the inchworm vertical twist improve. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys some easy variations of those exercises. For the Saxon tilt, the easiest thing to do is simply drop that knee on the ground so that you're in a kneeling position. And then from here, do the exercise with the knee on the ground. Try not to arch your back. So pull your ribs down so that your spine is in a neutral position. And then tilt in both directions. This exercise is great for lengthening the hip flexor and stretching the sides of your body. As you get stronger, you can raise your knee up off the ground. And another thing is, guys, it's okay to change in the middle of a workout. Like maybe you do a couple of reps the way that it's being demonstrated in the video, and then you start to fatigue and your form starts to fall apart, and then it's totally okay to then switch to an easier variation, all right? Like putting your knee on the ground. The same with inchworm vertical twist. So you walk yourself back, and for the inchworm exercises, I like to wear socks because it makes it easy to slide. So normally I would be here, again, my ribs are tight, or my ribs are down, my back is straight, I'm not arching, and then I twist in both directions. It's a super strong stretch in the hip flexor, right? Like I feel it, it's really strong. And because that's such a strong stretch, a lot of times it makes your lower back work really hard. So if you want to make it easier, again, you just put your knee down on the ground, you twist, and then you walk yourself forward. So actually, like in the prep program, we have those kneeling exercises, right? In the prep program, we have the kneeling vertical twist. We have the Saxon tilt, but it's one arm at a time. And then in Bodyweight Training 2.0, it progresses to where your knee is up off the ground. If that variation is too difficult, just put your knee on the ground. It's totally okay. Or do 1 or 2 reps with your knee off the ground and then switch to doing it with your knee on the ground. Also, again, if you really want to get good at something, you need to practice it. So consider maybe throughout the day, just doing 2 or 3 reps whenever you think of it. All right, a lot of people had questions about one-legged RDLs. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but again, like the main way to get good at one-legged RDLs is to practice one-legged RDLs. But with that said, I'm going to give you guys a couple of variations to make it easier. First of all, the arm position makes a big difference. All right, so having your arms at the streamlined position is the hardest. And one of the things that I always like to do is I focus on picking up the leg behind myself. So instead of thinking about bending forward, think about picking up that leg behind yourself. And if this is too hard, or even if this is too hard, you can put your hands on your hips. Pick up the leg behind yourself, go as far as you can until you get a good stretch, and then come back up. If at this point you already have a good stretch in your hamstring, then that's okay. Then go ahead and come back up. Another thing that you can do is use a wall. And this actually feels really good. And here I'm drawing my midsection in. I'm staying in really good posture. I'm not arching my back. I'm picking up my leg behind myself. This supporting leg is straight, okay? So it's not really bent. Make the supporting leg as straight as you can. Make the extended leg as straight as you can. And get a good stretch with every repetition. Another good tip, if for whatever reason standing on one leg just doesn't work for you at all, you can use what's called a B stance, or like a tripod assisted stance. All right, so basically, instead of doing this, you just take the leg that you would normally elevate, and you put your toes in the ground behind yourself. And then from here, you can use whatever arm position you want. You do the same movement. So this is sort of like an in-between between a two-legged exercise and a one-legged exercise. On the other side, all right, so here you can see my toes I'm supporting myself with this back foot. For RDLs, this leg would be straight. I would choose my arm position, push my hips back, make myself really long and straight, get a good stretch, and then come back up. I could do that with a bent leg version as well. So for the one-legged RDLs, the arm positions make a difference. You can use something to assist yourself. You can use a B stance. And then again, another thing that really helps is just to take a little time throughout the day and practice. And you'll be surprised how the practice does not need to be hard. It just needs to be frequent. So if you were to, for example, just do 2 to 4 repetitions on each side, like once every 15 to 30 minutes, or maybe even just like once an hour throughout the workday, so that you do 8 sets per day, which is not, and if you're doing 3 or 4 reps on each side, like that's not enough to break a sweat. I'm telling you, within 2 weeks, that exercise is going to be so much easier. And of course, you can do the same thing with A-frames and any other exercise. All right, so basically, like one of the things one of the takeaways here from the feedback I've gotten from you guys is that it seems like one of the main limiting factors is flexibility. So aside from practicing the exercises that you're struggling with, which you can do throughout the day, one of the most effective, probably the most effective way to improve your flexibility is with dynamic stretching in the morning. And I've recently started doing it again. I first actually read about this in a book. I read this book like I probably read this book 33 years ago or something like that. And my stepdad had it. It was written by a Russian, and it's called Stretching Scientifically. It's a really small book. You can probably still get it on Amazon.com. Again, Stretching Scientifically. I forgot the guy's name. But he talks about the three main types of stretching. You have passive stretching. Passive stretching is great. It helps you to relax. It will improve your flexibility. It just takes a lot of time. All right. Then you have isometric stretching, where basically you go into you get into a stretching position and then you contract the muscle so that there's resistance. So you're basically developing strength at the end range of motion. And that's also a really good way to, that's a much faster way to improve your flexibility. And the cool down in EFX has isometric stretching in it. All right, but I think the most effective way to improve overall flexibility is with dynamic stretching first thing in the morning. There's some key things here that you want to do. So I'm going to give you guys 4 movements that you can do in the morning after you wake up. Again, you don't want to make yourself tired. You're going to do 8 to 16 repetitions, and you're only going to do 1 to 3 sets of each. And you want to avoid fatigue. So once you reach your full range of motion, you stop. Because if you keep swinging your legs or whatever to the point where you're tired and you can no longer swing your leg as high, then that's being programmed into your nervous system and you're actually going to reduce your range of motion. All right, so again, I'm going to give you guys 4 exercises that you guys can practice in the morning. It's going to take you 3 minutes, and if you do it daily, it'll improve your mobility. All right. First of all, you have arm swings. My fingers go back. And you start nice and easy, right? This is not like a violent thing. You start easy, and with every swing, you gradually increase your range of motion. For me personally, I'm relatively flexible. I'm in decent shape. For me, one set of 12 to 14 repetition gets me pretty close to my full range of motion. So I just do one set of 12 to 14, and then I stop. That may not work for you. You may need 2 sets of 8 or something like that, so just play around with it. Okay, here's the next exercise. 1, 2, nice and easy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So usually I do 12 of each of those. Next, I do leg swings. Grab onto something. So here, I'm grabbing the chair, and the leg that's on the same side as the supporting hand, that's the leg that I'm going to swing. So you have this contralateral leg and arm swing, just like you have with walking or running, right? Start nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, and kind of like touch your toe. 4, 5, try to keep your back straight. 6, 7, 8, and here my leg is coming back, which stretches my hip flexors. As it's coming forward, and I'm pulling my toes back, it's stretching my calves and hamstrings, And I'm also pushing my hips back forward slightly, which stretches these hip flexors. Same thing on the other side. Start nice and easy. And get the back swing as well, back here. Okay. So we had arm swings, we had horizontal arm swings, we had vertical arm swings, we had front leg swings, and now we're going to do side leg swings. Grab something. You're going to have to push your hips back slightly. And then from here, you come across and out. Nice and easy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing on the other side. And that's it. I mean, so that has basically been my morning stretching routine, the dynamic stretching. Those 4 movements, I basically do 12 repetitions going each way. And it gets me pretty close to my full range of motion. It's easy enough and enjoyable enough that I'm consistent with it. You know, for me, maybe I could get a little bit more out of the workout if I were to do, let's say, 3 sets of 10. The thing is, now you're talking about like 10 minutes, and the likelihood of me doing it goes way down. So I've just been doing 1 set of 12 of all those exercises. It takes me, I don't know, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It wakes you up. There's something about your arms flying around, your legs flying around that really like stimulates your nervous system. And it's actually like, so lately I have not been doing a lot of like the passive stretching at night that I was talking about, because I haven't really needed to, because I do 2 or 3 minutes of those dynamic stretching. So that works really well. And I would highly recommend that you guys do that. Hey, what's up, Das? Oh, what's up, Mike? All right, one last tip before I go. Spending time in a squatting position, like a deep squatting position, is also a super healthy thing that you can do. And I like to do it with my heels slightly elevated. So I have this thing. I don't know. I bought it on Amazon. It's super cheap. I could use a book or some magazines. When I take my dog out, they have like, I'll find roots. I just find little places where I can elevate my heels. Right? And it sounds funny, but like, while I'm waiting for my dog to take a crap, I'm sitting in a squat waiting. And I do that every morning. You know, I do it several times a day. And what I've noticed is that like the little bit of back problems that I had from sitting at a desk writing books or whatever, right? The dynamic stretching and sitting in a deep squat for a couple minutes each day consistently has worked really well for me. Additionally, exercising throughout the day works really well, because there's nothing worse than sitting at a desk for hours at a time. So if you guys can get yourself to get up and every once in a while just like do a set of whatever exercises you're struggling with the most, like A-frames, inchworm, exercises, whatever. Do two or three repetitions on each side, and then go sit down again. You're not gonna break a sweat. It's gonna be super easy. If you stay consistent with that, you're gonna make really good progress. All right, so I think that's my feedback for you guys, which can be summarized as, like, when it comes to strength training, negatives are great. Easy practice all throughout the day is amazing, right? And that's one of the benefits of calisthenics. Don't be scared to use easier exercise variations, and don't be frustrated with your range of motion. All right, the point is that you get a stretch. And again, if it's really important to you that you get better with a certain exercise, then you're gonna have to practice that throughout the day, because maybe what we're doing in those 30, 45-minute workouts, those 9-minute workouts, isn't enough to counteract the 40 hours of sitting throughout the week. I think that's all I got for you guys. Sorry about the technical issues with the audio. I guess we're gonna keep doing this, and yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'm grateful for you. You guys have a good day. All right, bye-bye.